Well, hello everyone, and welcome to our weekly episodic Friday Live series. Thank you so much for being here and joining me. I want to start off this session just by congratulating everyone in our Internet Mastery community. Whether you are the newest Internet Mastery member or you are the most successful and have been with us the longest amount of time, I just want to thank everybody for their contributions, their efforts, and their results. Our community is now over $161 million in sales. And I really love seeing all of the posts in our Facebook group from each of your successes, and just watching and seeing and hearing the results is truly inspiring for me and for the coaches and for the rest of the community. Seeing people who have sold $50,000 and $100,000 and $150,000 and a year or less. And those of you that are making your first sales, congratulations to you. Of course, we have so many people now over the $1 million mark, it's almost hard to keep track. But everybody comprises this Internet Mastery community. And it really is an exciting time to be part of what it is that we are doing. On today's session, I thought it would be fun to spend a little bit of time with you talking about the Bolo search and how it really is designed to work, some of the exciting features, and just some of my experiences in using this incredible tool. Bolo Search is the first, actually, before I get into Bolo Search, let me say that I also have some announcements, some updates, and I think some important insight for you that I'm going to save to the second half of our session here today. So those of you that are here for updates, don't worry, I've got you covered. But as I have been doing now for the last several sessions, I'd like to get into some of the training first, and then we can deal with the updates a little bit later as we go. And then, of course, finish with our usual Q&A sessions as we have them. So the idea of Bolo Search, when we created it, was for it to be the first ever a search engine for retail arbitrage deals. These are deals you can find in person. These are deals you can find online. The idea of retail arbitrage, buying from a retailer on sale, clearance, or closeout, and being able to access these deals and be able to sort through them and search through them was the ultimate concept. And we set out to create a technology that didn't exist. So obviously, all of our Internet Mastery community members get access to and have access to the Bolo deals. These are 15 unique deals that are pushed into your account every single week, and we scour through hundreds of thousands of deals to come up with those Bolo deals. We have AI that's infused into it, and the Bolo deals have really been an incredible resource for our Internet Mastery community. But the Bolo search concept was to create the largest ever search engine, and now the largest ever AI-based search engine for retail arbitrage deals. Now with more than 30,000 deals, it continues to grow week in and week out. One of the things that I think it's important for everybody to understand is that just like retailers in general, prices fluctuate all the time. So the concept of the Bolo search is that some of the deals will be in stock, some of the deals will not. Some of the deals will be a good price and some will not. And all of this flexibility and fluidity changes on an ongoing basis. It changes on the time of the year, it changes on the competition, and it changes based on the retailer. So you will see in Bolo search that some of the deals will be better than others, some of the deals will be great, and some of the deals will be okay. But when you understand how to reverse engineer the deals and you look at the Bolo search as the ultimate place to find your products to sell, this is really where the power of this comes in. Some of it's going to be easy, low-hanging fruit, and some of it is going to require a little extra work. But here's what we know. We know now with pinpoint accuracy that if the choice is head over to Walmart or head over to Best Buy or head over to Target and look at finding items for sale. That's literally like looking for a needle in a haystack. That's how we used to do it. That's very old school. That's how so many non-internet mastery students go about doing their search. When you've got Bolo search, you have this conglomerate of opportunities. So we've done all the heavy lifting, and instead of you having to figure out what categories and what opportunities you should even begin to look at, because it does get overwhelming, it's all together in one place. Now, I get it. Bolo Search has a subscription. It's $299 a month. That is true. What you need to look at, though, as you're understanding the opportunity with Bolo Search is this. Number one, you need to be able to make, on average, $10 per day from more than 30,000 opportunities. I would submit this, that if you are not making at least $10 a day and you are utilizing Bolo Search, you're probably not utilizing it the right way. The second thing is that, of course, your $299 a month is a tax deduction. So just on the federal level, if you're paying taxes, you're probably paying 20 or 30% in income tax. Now, of course, I'm not an accountant and I'm not giving you tax advice, but the ability for you to reduce your taxable output by that Bolo Search payment every month reduces the overall net of your $299 a month down to whatever your taxable amount is. Some of us, more than others, can use as many tax deductions as we possibly can. So just having that put off to the side, yes, it's an additional investment, but it is well worth it. Remember that it's not what you invest, it's what you get back for what you invest. I should also mention that I don't think that anyone who gets into Bolo Search can figure out all the different optimal ways to use it in a month. Some people will say, well, I'm going to try it for a month and see how it goes, and if it doesn't, I'm going to cancel it. If that's how you approach it, my advice to you is don't even bother. Just stick with what you're doing. It's not worth it because there's no way you can really understand it all in a 30-day period. The other thing to keep in mind is that every single week, between 500 and 1,000 new deals get uploaded into Bolo Search. So every single month at your $299 investment, you'll have access to thousands of new opportunities every single month. And that's super powerful. Of course, there's also the wholesale side of it, which I'm going to talk about here today as well. And that is just opens up an entirely new set of opportunities for those of you that want to get ungated in certain categories and in certain brands. It's going to be exciting to see how that unfolds. So I'm going to head into Bolo Search now and just give you an overview of what this looks like. And I think I'll see if I can give you some of the best practices of how you should be using it if you already have access to it. I think this is one of those tools, personally for me, that is an extraordinary way for people to grow their Amazon business. So let me see if I can figure out how to move my screen around and do all of this here with you. And let's move this over here. So you'll see, first and foremost, there are 33,947 opportunities. 33,947 opportunities. Now, before I get too far down the path, one of the things I want to mention about Bolo Search is this. When you buy a Bolo Search deal that is an actual deal in Bolo Search, and then you list it using Spy Rivals, not Spy Rivals X, but Spy Rivals, and you list it, and then you submit that deal to the prep center, not prep at home, but to the prep center, that item gets hidden in the Bolo Search results for 30 days. So the fear that some people have is that, well, what if everyone in Internet Mastery sells the same thing? Well, if you find the deal, buy the deal, list the deal through Spy Rivals, and submit the deal to the prep center, those deals become hidden for 30 days to everyone else in the community. The other thing to consider is that when you're buying retail, If you buy all of the items at the retailer, the items are going to be out of stock anyway. So you don't have to have that fear mindset that what happens if everybody else is selling the same thing. We never really worry about that part of it, but we did put that hidden feature in because a lot of people were asking about how that would look. So let's take again a quick peek here at Bolo Search. So you're going to find a few things. The first thing is the 33,947 deals. The opportunities are the approximate number if we sold all 33,947, if we bought them all and we bought all of the recommended number that SpyRival says we can sell, it would be 2.2 million items. And the estimated revenue, if we sold all of it, would be $156 million at a 37% ROI. A 37% ROI. So that's about 50 million-ish. I just made that number up, but it's pretty close. About 50 million-ish of net profit after all fees and everything. So if all you did was spend your time here in this place, and you understood it and you did it properly, and then you reversed engineered deals and realized that any opportunity that you see can become 5 other opportunities, then you really start to understand the sheer power of the Bolo search. So one of the things that we can do here is we can filter. And the filter has an incredible and yet enormous potential and power to be able to figure out what we do and what we do not want to look at. Now, I should also mention to you that Bolo search is a little bit different in terms of opportunities than Bolo deals. What do I mean by that? Well, first of all, there are some vendors, some retailers that will not ship to the prep center. Midway comes to mind. Midway is an amazing retailer, and it's a disappointment that they won't ship to not just our prep center, they don't ship to any prep center. And so Midway, we removed from the Bolo deals. So I often get asked, why is Midway part of Bolo search? Well, we have a lot of people that use Bolo search that don't use the prep center for everything that they sell. It's nothing wrong with prepping the items yourself if you so choose to. And so if there are deals and opportunities for you and you are prepping it yourself, then Midway might be the perfect opportunity for you. So you'll find that there are some retailers in Bolo search that are just not in the Bolo deals. The other thing that you'll find is that we need to, and we have not done this yet, okay? We need to get in, and I don't have an ETA, so please don't ask me when it's going to happen. I'm telling you I don't know. We need to get in and clean up some of the Bolo search deals because vendors like Bed Bath & Beyond, which were valid deals, they went out of business. Now they have come back, but the links typically don't work because the old and the new Bed Bath & Beyond don't sell necessarily all of the same things. So there is some cleanup that needs to be done. It's not the perfect system. Once we get through the holidays, we'll be able to put some time into doing that. But I just wanted to make you aware that you'll find that. The other thing is that some categories that are always going to be gated for new people, for example, clothing, beauty, shoes, those are part of Bolo search. Why is that? Because a lot of people who use Bolo search are more advanced sellers that have been ungated in those categories. So not everything in Bolo search will be ideal for a new person. Yet, Bolo search is the perfect opportunity for new people because of the sheer volume. It might almost be a little bit overwhelming for a new person that is coming in. I want to just do a quick reminder for those of you that are brand new. We just had somebody post this question in the Facebook group, so I want to remind you that Amazon has made changes recently to where it feels as if all deals are gated. And you just need to understand the process of getting ungated. The challenge with getting ungated has never changed. It's just the process of getting ungated, which has changed. We have a great video in the e-library. It's pinned to the top of the Facebook group on how to get ungated. Just a quick reminder if you're new to watch that video at some point. So when we're looking at the Bolo search, you're going to find retailers, you're going to find categories. It is going to engage you in more opportunities that may feel like everything might be gated. Again, gives you an opportunity and a challenge to get ungated in some of those areas. So let's continue and let me talk about the filters. The filters help you to really narrow down what it is you're looking for as a search engine. Now, before you've got really two ways you can do this. The first way is you can just simply narrow down the results into the things that hit and fit and meet whatever it is you're filtering for. So for example, there are two filters that I use most often. And while all the other filters are fantastic, let me show you the two that I use, because I think if you can do this in a quick, expedited manner, it'll help you to get into the part that takes the most time. So the first one I look at is ROI. And what I'm looking for is a minimum of 10% ROI. 10% ROI. Now, let me just stop there and say this. I know, hold on for me one moment here. I know that in all of our trainings, I tell you to look for a minimum of 15% ROI. That is fact. The reason that I lower it to 10% is because I'm going to increase my velocity of things that are selling a little bit faster. And when you combine a slightly lower ROI with items that sell a little bit faster, weave into it the Internet Mastery Repricer, which I'm not going to get into today. What happens is your items sell much quicker. So an item that sells in 2 weeks at 10% actually gets you a much greater ROI, especially when you compound the numbers, than 15% over the course of a month. So that's just a strategy that I use personally. Doesn't mean you have to use it. You can stick with whatever you're doing or whatever you're working through with your coach, but that's what I do personally when I'm doing this type of product sourcing. So let me come back in here and set this up for us. So I'm going to set my minimum return at 10%, and then I click the set button. Nothing's going to change until I click the apply button. In fact, let me show you. If we click apply, we have now eliminated about 12,000 deals that have a 10% or a 9%, 9.9% or less ROI. Now you say, well, that's a lot of really bad deals. Folks, there's no such thing as a bad deal. Even a deal that has a negative ROI is not a bad deal if you can reverse engineer that to make it a good deal by either creating a bundle or finding other items that are similar that you can sell. You have to expand how you understand this process, okay? And when you realize that bundles are opportunities and reverse engineer deals that weren't in Bolo search but you found are opportunities, just like we talk about in the Bolo search video series. So this is a process, right? Amazon is a pretty big company, as we know. They built their entire business on 3% margins. There's a lot of companies that mimic that business, like Costco and Walmart. It's a high volume, low margin business. So it's possible that you might be excited about 3 or 4 or 5% return. By the way, a 5% return on an item that sells in a week is better than a 10% that sells in 2 weeks. That's just, again, that's math. That's how the compounding process works. But for this example, I'm going to be showing you the way that I do it personally. So I'm looking for items that are at the 10%, and we've got ourselves now down to 19,398 deals. Now I want to further it down because that's still way too many deals for me to figure out in terms of what it is that I want to sell. So I'm going to filter again. Now, this next filter that I put in are the monthly estimated buys. In other words, how many items do I want to buy at a minimum that I know that I'm going to be able to sell? And for this example, I'm going to set the number at 5. So my minimum estimated monthly buys, I will set at 5. That means that any item that I could buy 3 of and sell those 3 in a month, it's going to exclude from my search. Again, what I'm doing now is I'm just narrowing down the overall Bolo search opportunity for my personal needs. And so now I'm going to click on apply. This is going to take us down, unfortunately, not that low, to 8,630 deals, which is 951,000 opportunities, which is now $88 million in revenue if I bought them all. Now, one of the things I've been saying a lot lately, I really think is something that is an accurate statement. You will always run out of money before you run out of deals. You'll always run out of money. So the only way you'd be able to buy 8,000 different products with thousands and thousands and thousands of quantity is if you had an unlimited bucket of money, which we don't. And so understand there's more good deals than there is money to be spent. And some of us who are just starting out in this community have a small budget. You have maybe $300 or $400 for inventory when you're starting. You may have $800 or $1,200 for inventory a couple of months in. You want to go slowly. You want to take your time. The lower you start, the less you put in, the slower you're going to go. But you're going to run out of money before you run out of deals. That's just the way the opportunities are. So when we continue here, what we can see is that just perhaps this is an opportunity. This is just too many deals for me. So I can go back and I can filter it in a little bit further. Perhaps what I want to do is I want to filter in a specific category. So let's say that I wanted to filter in sports. Let's see if that helps me. I'm not sure. Let's take a look. And we can see here that sports is not a category that I can filter in. Sport. Let's try sport. I never actually filtered by category, so that's not going to do it for me either. So let us remove that, set that, click apply, and let's go back to where we were. I'm going to filter again and take a look at this and say, okay, that's really where I want to be. Now, what we then can do is just start going through each of these deals. Now, if you watch the Spy Rivals video that I posted recently about how to understand the average selling price, that becomes a huge opportunity here. Now, remember what you have to understand with the Bolo search, and that is that these deals will change over time. Sometimes they change within days of being published. But let's just take a look, for example, at some premium saltine crackers. Why not? So the first thing that I want to do is let's click on the details. So when we look at this, this looks very similar to what you would find in the Bolo deals. We can see here that we could sell roughly 7 boxes of crackers every month. So I'm going to just close that out, and I'm going to click on Walmart and take a look and see what we've got here. So we've got the ability to buy these at Walmart for $3.58. Okay. Then we can take a look and see what is the item selling for on Amazon right now. And this is the unsalted tops. I believe that the salted ones sell a little bit better than the unsalted ones, but that doesn't really matter. Let's take a look at this. What we can see here is that the lowest is only 6 sellers, and the lowest price is $13. That's pretty snazzy, okay? Very, very, very powerful. Now, Because I'm on this particular page, the tendency would be, if I was going to list this item, it would be through SPY Rivals X. Okay. However, what we're going to do is if we were going to list this item, we would use SPY Rivals lookup to get the actual data. And the actual data is that we can sell 8 of these over the course of the month. Now, this is a very, very interesting observation here. So first of all, when we take a look at our buy price, we can see that our buy price is $3.58. But the price on Amazon right now for this particular item is $13. $13. And the lowest price is $13, and the price goes up and up. And yet, I'm not sure that I love this particular item. First of all, when we look in SPY Rivals, what we can see is that the average selling price is $3.58, and the average price over the last 12 months is $3.57. So even though this item right now, we could buy for $3.58 and we could sell for $13. That's a nice profit if we put that in here, $3.58, and say we sold it for $13. That's a 69% ROI. That's a great number. That's a great number, right? 69% ROI. The problem is that if we're analyzing, we have all the data, I wouldn't buy this item. Why wouldn't I buy it? Well, number one, the average 30-day and the average 365, they're the exact same price. Somebody said to me the other day, they said, first of all, I don't understand why every time I send items into Amazon, the price changes by the time it gets to Amazon. Well, let's be real. Retail prices change all the time. It's not because you sent it in. By the way, if you didn't send it in, the prices still would have changed. So you have to be aware of the fluctuation of the prices. That's why this ability to know what the average selling price is over the last 30 days and over the last year is so incredibly powerful. So in this particular case, I think it's pretty clear that at some point in time, the price is going to drop. The other thing that happens is people will say to me, well, Amazon wasn't on the listing, and now Amazon is on the listing. Oh, okay, thank you for sharing that with me. But what's your point? Amazon is on about 20% of all the listings on Amazon. But let's see if there's a possibility that the reason that this has changed in price is because of Amazon. So we have this button here called, or this area here called historical data. Now, the historical data right here, you can see the blue. This is Amazon's price. And what you can see is that whenever Amazon sells this item, their selling price is $3.58. So we can see a long history of Amazon selling this item. That means that over time, and by the way, it's very possible that the Amazon price is here down at the bottom on these blue dots. So Amazon is on the listing. Amazon is not on the listing. Amazon is on the listing, but Amazon has not been on the listing for almost a year. So you can actually use the historical data in SPY Rivals to have an idea of A, is Amazon ever been on the listing? B, is Amazon just out of stock? Or C, is Amazon on and off the listing on a frequent basis? Or in this case, maybe Amazon's not coming back. But then if you take a look at the third party price, that's our price, we're the third party sellers. You can see that in August it was $3.58, but then now the price is bumped up here. Now we can see the price was $3.58, $3.58, $3.58, $3.58, $3.58. You can also see that the rank, which shows the velocity, is actually on the way up. So the higher the price, the lower the velocity, and yet it still sells really, really well. So maybe in understanding this, and we say, okay, what does this tell us? This tells us that Amazon is not a factor because Amazon hasn't had this item listed for almost a year. The other thing it shows us is that our price is going, or our competitor's price is going to fluctuate immensely. So every other week, the price goes up, down, up, down, up, down. But the last 45 days, the price has been relatively high. So I think what this would mean is on the surface, it looks like a great deal until we look at the average price. Then when we look at the average price, as I said, I'm out. But actually, I'm back in. Why would I be back in? Because at 60+%, I'm happy to wait a few days. So it's possible that when I buy this item and I start sending it to Amazon, it's possible that the price is going to fluctuate. The price is going to drop. If we look at the historical chart, we can see the price is going to drop. I know that before I buy the item. But at the same time, there have been plenty, in fact, from this date here, which is October 2022, all the way through March of 2023, the price didn't drop at all. And then we can see the price dropped for a moment, and then it went right back up. And then it dropped, and then it came right back up. Here it fluctuates, and here it's come right back. So if this is a product that you're willing to have a fluctuation on your price, see, if I bought this for $3.58, and we know that it's selling for right now, let's take a quick peek one more time, it's selling at the moment for $13. I would probably set my minimum price in my repricer for somewhere around $12. I wouldn't set it for $4. There's no need to sell it for $4. So this is the point of the better you get at the business, the more it starts to make sense to you. This is a understanding of so many different variables. Of course, if you're new, none of this might make a whole lot of sense to you. But if you're analytical and you're looking at all the different data points before you make your purchase, we're not just going to say, oh, it's green, let's push the button. We have all of these details with us right here in our system. It's absolutely incredible. Let me go ahead and do another search for you and see if we can find another good example for us. So this one would be good. And by the way, I don't even know whether I would get approved to sell it or not. It's all hypothetical until I head over to Amazon. I need to click request approval. And then there, wow, done. Hello. I wasn't approved. I clicked the button and I was instantly approved. Just like that. In fact, I actually wasn't even expecting to get approved. I thought maybe that was a brand in grocery, but bang, done, approved. Wait a few minutes, let it update, and then now you can list the item. So that happened so fast. I actually did it fast because I was sort of expecting to not be approved, but it looks like we'll be selling some crackers. Probably want to, no, I better not. All right, so let me go ahead and do another Bolo search here for us. So let me go back to Bolo search. That was good though. That was good. By the way, when you do that, it can take a few minutes for, watch, if I just type in crackers, it could take a few minutes for it to, this is a different size crackers here. It could take a few minutes. That's the one that we were looking at for Spy Rivals to be in sync, right? You see here, it still says it needs to be approved. It could take a few minutes for that to happen. And I'm not going to spend that time doing that here, but just know that it does take time for Spy Rivals and Amazon to communicate with each other. All right, let's take a look at another one here. I want to give you a different example, and that is I want to look up a candle. And we'll take a look at the candles. And what I'm going to do here is I've got 93 candles in my search. So in this case, I'm going to now do the same filter. I'm going to say, show me a candle with a minimum ROI of 10%. And what that's going to do is it's going to bring me down to 57 candles. 57 candles. So if I scroll down to the bottom of the page, okay, I see a candle here called the Candlelight Scented Orange Vanilla Dreamsicle. And this particular candle is available at Rite Aid This says that it is not available for shipping. However, it ships in 2 to 3 business days, which means that it may or may not be one that I have to send to the prep center. It might be one that I have to pick up, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. By the way, if you were in Rite Aid and you had your Amazon app, then it's very possible that you will be scanning everything in Rite Aid, because Rite Aid's got some pretty freaking good deals. So let's take a quick peek here and see what we've got. So this particular item at Rite Aid is $7.49. If we look at it on Amazon, we can see here that it is not available. Oh, yes. That's huge. That means you'd be the only seller selling it on Amazon going into the holidays. And you might need to begin initially with it FBM if it's still meltable. We're pretty close to being done with the meltable season at the time of this recording. However, you might want to be on guard there. Now, let me just also mention something. When you get, this is a topic for another day, but I'm just going to throw it out there. The closer you get to the holidays, the less your chance of your items being available for Christmas, because Amazon has certain hard deadlines. So what a lot of people do as they get closer and closer to the holidays is just ship FBM. I know that shipping FBM is not ideal, but at least it gives you an opportunity to have your item listed, you ship it yourself, and you still make sales during the holidays. So just something to consider as we get closer. Again, I'll cover that for another topic on another day. So let me continue in this particular example. So I'm going to now do a lookup, and we can see here this needs approval to sell. That's fine. We can see that none have sold in the last 30 days, but the item was selling extremely well. And the average selling price is $26.40. So if I bought it for $7.49 and I sold it for, let's say, $26, what would my profit would be? 147%. Is definitely worth doing FBM for this item at this point. Now, when we take a look here, if we can sell it on Amazon, I will just let you know that, well, let's see if we can get approved first. Okay, so I'm going to click request approval. Remember, everything needs approval. You can see everything I click on needs approval, just like for everybody else who's selling on Amazon. I'm going to click request approval, and it says I need to watch a video. Great. Boom, 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 ba-boom, bada bang. Here's my email, and click submit. And now I'm approved. So for those of you that did not watch the how to get approved and how to get ungated video, there are 3 things that happen when you click the button. Either you need invoices, meaning you're out because you're not buying wholesale, you have to get a video to watch, or you get instant approval. Well, I just got 2 out of 2 approved. One I got the video, and one I got instantly approved. This is all based on you in your account. It is different for every single person selling on Amazon. So at the end of the day, if you're getting just a little bit approved and it's a little lower than you think it should be, it's okay. Find some ones you can sell. Don't get discouraged. It just takes, look, you turn 18, you get a credit card. You're not getting a $50,000 limit. You get a $300 to $500 limit. You pay your balance on time. Your performance goes up. Your history of your payments goes up. And so does your credit limit. Same thing on Amazon with getting ungated. Now, let's go back to Bolo search. So in this particular case, this one is another really, really good one. So I got myself 2 items in Bolo search that I can sell, that I can be profitable for in just a few minutes. One was a candle, and one was a pack of saltine crackers, a box of saltine crackers. By the way, when I woke up this morning and I said, what am I going to find to sell on Amazon? A candle and a box of crackers were not on my list. So Bolo search is so powerful. That's 2 really fast. Now, obviously, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm looking for. But at the end of the day, the only way you get good at this is by doing it. That's the only way. Now, one other point that I want to mention. Back in August at internetmastery.live, I mentioned to you that we would be launching Bolo Vendor. Bolo Vendor is the ability for you to buy items wholesale through Bolo Search as part of your Bolo Search subscription. And when you do, you will get invoices. And when you get those invoices, you should be able to utilize those invoices for getting ungated in categories and in specific brands. That's the goal. That's the plan. Now, what we've started to do, it took us a long time to figure this out, by the way, and I think we are 99% there. So what I started doing was adding just a handful of products into Bolo Search. And we're starting it all with the same category, all with the same genre from several different wholesalers, and that's with video games. Why? They're easy to ship, they're lightweight, they're profitable, they're low cost, and it's a great test for us to be able to go through this process with you. So I just listed about a dozen, actually about a half a dozen or so in Bolo Search. I want to show you what that looks like. I want you to keep in mind that these items are not in stock. So once we launch this effectively here today, we're going to purchase all of the items that you see as they are still available from the wholesaler. It'll take a few days to arrive, and then they will ship. As Bolo Search Wholesale, Bolo Search Vendor continues to grow, we will have those items in stock when they go live in Bolo Vendor. But since we're still in the beta test, we're still figuring out the process and the technology, I just want to give you an idea of what that looks like because it's insanely exciting. So right here at the top, where it says deals, it also says wholesale deals. So I'm going to click on the wholesale deals. And why does it tell me that there? Oh, because it still has in the search for candles. So I'm going to get rid of the search. And what you can see is that there are 7 deals with the opportunities and the revenue isn't updating. We need to look at that. So that's something that we need to fix because it's showing how many deals there are, but not necessarily the correct. That's the total system numbers there. So we'll get that updated. But what you can see is that there are 7 games available. They range in profit. This is on the wholesale side, but the goal here is to get the wholesale invoices from Bolo Vendor. So if you need invoices to get ungated, this will be that process for you to do that. So let's just pick on this one right here. We can see that in this particular case, we can look at it in Bolo Vendor. So if I click on, well, let me take a look at Spy Rivals first. You can see this one needs approval to list. Now, if I'm able to get instantly approved, that's great. Let's check it out. I hope I'm not. I hope in this case you need an invoice. Nope, no invoice. Amazing. Let's take a look at this one. This one, I was saying I hope we need an invoice because you're going to get an invoice from Bolo Vendor. But I'm going to come in here, submit, and 3 out of 3 gated, approved. 3 out of 3 gated, approved. So don't tell me, believe me, don't post on Facebook, everything is gated. I know, everything is gated. But is it really gated or is it just pretend fake gated? I don't know. We'll find out. So let's go back here and show you this, okay? So this says that 2.3 is the estimated daily sales. Your buys are 6, okay? Your buys are 6. And the profit on this, let's see, you're going to estimated buys here. It says 8, but that's okay. What we're going to do is I'm going to click on Bolo Vendor. And with Bolo Vendor, what it's going to do is it's going to give you some pricing. Now, the thing that I want you to understand is you're going to have to sign up to Bolo Vendor. You have to sign up to Bolo Vendor, okay? And we can click calculate the profit. We can see it on Amazon. But here's the thing that I want you to understand. Bolo Vendor is an official wholesale website. You do not need to be a Bolo Search member. Everybody, please pay attention to this. You do not need to be a Bolo Search vendor, a Bolo Search member, subscribed member to buy from Bolo Vendor. However, let me show you the benefit to doing that. So if we take a look here, we can see that the price, let me see if this shows you the details here, okay? The buy price is $19. Does everybody see that? The buy price is $19. So the whole idea is that as a Bolo Search member, when you buy from Bolo vendor, wholesale pricing, you will get a greater discount on the wholesale price. So think about it as wholesale minus a discount off the wholesale, just for being a Bolo Search member. The goal is for you to save enough from your membership in wholesale purchases just to cover even the $2.99 a month, let alone the profit. So let me show you what I'm referring to here. So because Bolo Vendor is a legitimate website, you can buy this item right now, anyone can, whether they have Bolo Search or not, for $25. However, for those of you that have Bolo Search, your price will be $19. So if you're buying, in this case, whatever the minimum number is, I think the minimum number is 10, you're going to save $60 from just this purchase by being a Bolo Search wholesale member. Plus, you're going to get the Bolo vendor invoice, which if you need invoices to get ungated, you'll be able to submit to Amazon as an official invoice to help you get ungated in that brand. It's very powerful on so many different layers. Now, let me just go back here and show you that you'll have to sign up to create an account. Make sure you go over here to register. When you do, you use the email that you use to log into your Internet Mastery community. So this way, the system knows that you have access to Bolo Search. If you have Bolo Search, when you go to purchase this inventory, you will pay the Bolo Search price, which, by the way, if I take a look here on Bolo Search and we click on View Details, it'll show you your buy price right here, okay? So if I were to look this up, just to give you an example, if I were to buy this item for $25, it's not profitable if I'm not a Bolo Search member, even at the wholesale pricing. However, at the 19 pricing, which is the Bolo vendor price, now you're at 27%. So the prices are wholesale, but as you all know, the wholesale prices are not as relevant based on who's selling it on Amazon. So the quantity is limited. The quantity is limited. The availability is limited, obviously. And this time of the year, the process is really, right now, is just beta, because this is our first launch of this opportunity. But there are 7 products there. There's enough to keep you busy. I think they might sell out pretty quick. They might not. Who knows? Maybe y'all don't want to sell video games. Maybe you do. We'll see what happens. But over the next few days, we will be adding more and more items to Bolo Search. Over the next few weeks, we will be adding more and more and more items into Bolo Search in the wholesale side, in addition, obviously, to the retail. It won't just be video games over time, but for right now, because we're testing and we're still in beta, because we're testing, I want to make sure that there's so many moving parts here, folks. I'm not going to promise you this is going to be smooth and perfect and everything's going to be fine. But what I do know is that our Bolo Search members that will be buying these deals will cut me a little bit of slack, and we will cut you some slack too. If there's any issues or problems, we'll work with you and we'll figure it all out. I'm not anticipating a lot. I'm hopefully not anticipating any. I'm optimistic, but at the same time, with technology, we never know what's going to happen. I also just want to point out that if the invoices don't do what we think they're going to do, we're very confident in the invoices. We can adapt the invoices and adjust the invoices to what it is and whatever it is that we need to do, because you're legitimately buying from Bolo vendor at wholesale pricing. And so all around, being a Bolo Search member just becomes that much more valuable for you. Okay, that's what I wanted to cover on Bolo Search. Now, before I move into Q&A, let me just talk about a couple of other important things. Number one, let me just tell you something. I am so proud of our Prep Center team. As of this morning, there were zero, and I don't mean zero like I'm making up a number. I mean, there are 0 items at the Prep Center that need to be sent to Amazon. 0. The only boxes at the Prep Center are those boxes that either have no plan or are gated hazmat or meltable. And if you have a no plan, a gated, a hazmat, or a meltable at the Prep Center, please check your email because everyone and every box will be emailed today. Now, we've emailed some people for weeks and weeks and weeks without a response. And after 30 days, the items automatically get disposed of. Now, we never want to dispose of anything, but understand that if it's been at the Prep Center for more than a month, we've sent you 5 emails. And if you're not responding, I don't know what to say. I also want to make sure everybody's understanding the process. I recognize that in life, things happen outside of our control, right? I wrote a whole book about that. But at the same time, any item that shows up at the Prep Center for any reason without a plan is your responsibility. It's not the Prep Center's responsibility. People say, well, oh, I didn't know it was coming, or oh, the vendor did this, or oh, this was a mistake. I get it. I understand mistakes happen, but it's your business and your responsibility. And if the items show up at the Prep Center without a plan, you don't argue with us. Just pay the prep fee, please. You can't win the argument, and it doesn't make any sense. So just pay the prep fee. Let's get the plan in, or get us a return label. We got a whole new video on how to do return labels, and do that for us if you possibly can. One other point I want to mention. We've had several people this week. We never had a lot of emails like this before, but for whatever the reason, we've had several people this week say, I'm not sending you a return label because Target is sending UPS to pick it up. I want to be very clear with everybody. I've been doing this a really long time. UPS has never shown up at the Prep Center and said, where is so-and-so's box? I have a return label. Number one. Number two, we don't have so-and-so's box just available whenever UPS shows up. Like, the Prep Center is freaking busy. So if we ask you for a return label, just send us a return label. If we have to email you back and forth, and oh, I got a link, and oh, the UPS is coming, and I'm trying to be understanding. But we send you a message. Please just read the message, follow the instructions. It's not hard. Again, we're on your side. We're not against you. We had somebody today send in a message that said, well, you can donate the items because you don't want to send them because the Prep Center won't let me make a plan saying that the item is meltable. Who talks like that? Like, the Prep Center doesn't say you can't send an item in because it's meltable. Amazon says you can't send the item in because it's meltable. Like, it's just a learning process, I understand. But the Prep Center, any notification that we get, whether it's hazmat or meltable or gated, comes directly from Amazon, from your account. The Prep Center doesn't have any preference of what we send or what we don't send. Believe me, we'd much rather send it than stop and send you the email. Okay, that's the Prep Center update. Let me congratulate and welcome. I'm so excited that in December, we are holding our first ever How to Write a Book to Sell and Publish on Amazon workshop. And a lot of people in our community want to learn how to write their own book. And so we're combining AI with book writing, with publishing, with Amazon Kindle, with print on demand. I mean, this event, look, it's $1,000 to attend. It's limited to 12 or 14 or whatever the number of people are. It's $1,000. But here's the thing. If your book's not finished and ready to go in 48 hours, in 2 days, you get your money back. This is going to be an unbelievable event. We've got a few people signed up so far. The link keeps getting pushed down in the Facebook group. I will find and push it back up to the top again. But if you have an interest in joining us, if you want to have your own product on Amazon, it doesn't matter if you can write. It doesn't matter if English is not your first language. It doesn't matter if you don't even have an idea. You don't need one. You can write a cookbook. You can make a coloring book. You could do a novel, fiction, nonfiction. It doesn't matter. Whatever book you decide, your book will be done and ready, including the cover and the artwork before the end of the event, all with AI. It is unlike anything you've ever been to before. We've never held anything like this before. But as somebody who's written and published 6 best-selling books, I've been wanting to do an event like this for about 8 years. There's people, by the way, that charge I'm not making this up, $30,000 for this service. You pay them 30 grand, they get a ghostwriter, they write your book, they do the artwork, they get it all ready for you, and then when you publish it, you buy the books from them, and they charge you 30 grand for the service. There's $1,000, you'll leave with it done. Or you get your $1,000 back. It's going to be that cool. So that's all I wanted to talk about here today. That's my time. However, I'm happy to stick around and answer some questions that you all have if you have them. And so please feel free to post them. So the question is, for Bolo Vendor, is a resale permit needed? The short answer to your question is yes, it will be. In the short run, it will not be. While we're still in beta, while we're still testing, we're not requiring it. It's just one more layer of work that we don't have the time to do. I want to make sure the technology works. So yes, long term, you will need a permit or whatever, a reseller permit, whatever we want to call it. But for right now, you do not. So good question. Thank you for that question. Some info on how to send inventory to Amazon. I'm sorry, that's a very general question. I don't understand the question. So if you want to be more specific on the question, I'm happy to answer that question. Let's see, I'm going to scroll up here to the top. This is, by the way, an opportunity for you. If you have questions, please post them. If you don't have any questions, that's okay too. But either way, whatever works for you, if you want to ask them, and if not, then that's all right. I've been talking for an hour. I said to myself, I got about 20 minutes of things to say here today, and yet we went an hour of training. I thought that is pretty good. By the way, I think there is a 3-day trial for Bolo Search, 3-day trial, and then after that it's $2.99 a month. The price is going up to $4.99 a month. By the way, once we are out of the beta for Bolo Wholesale, Bolo Vendor, once we're out of the beta, the price goes to $4.99, and that will be sooner than later. If you're in at $2.99, your price is locked in for life, so even though the price is going up, your price won't go up at all. Julie says, when you buy from Bolo Vendor, do you still need to put instructions for the prep center and a plan? Yeah, of course. Yeah, just let the prep center know when you're submitting the plan, Julie, that there's a notes section when you're filling out a form. You can say there that the items are purchased through, it's a great point, purchased through Bolo Search or Bolo Vendor. We'll know that because we know what the items are, but just to give us a secondary note would be very, very helpful. And yes, of course, you want to have the plan. If you buy the deals, but you don't make the plan, then the games show up, and then they just sit there, and then you get charged for not having a plan. We don't want that to happen. But once you place your order, they'll be earmarked for you, so we'll know where they're coming from. So good, thank you for that. That's a good reminder. Excellent. I hope everybody, by the way, is still sending inventory to Amazon. We have this hard deadline, but the deadline is coming if it's not already here in many cases. Can I show you where to register for Bolo Vendor? Sure. So what you're going to do is you're going to, from within Bolo Search, let's close this out. From within Bolo Search, the source is, you go to Wholesale Deals at the top. The source is Bolo Vendor. You click on Bolo Vendor, and then in the upper right-hand corner, it says log in or sign up. You click sign up, and on the right-hand side, it says register. and then you put in your email and use the email you use for your Internet Mastery community, and then a password will be sent to your email. So that's the way that works there. Thank you for that quick request. Excellent. All right. Any other questions regarding Bolo Search, Bolo Vendor, or anything that we talked about? The event in, by the way, the How to Write a Book workshop. I get this question all the time. People are saying, how does that relate to selling on Amazon? Well, wouldn't you like to have a book that you can sell on Amazon that's yours in your name, that you publish, that you get all the money for? And by the way, if you can write one book, you can write one book a month for the next 12 months. I mean, why not create a whole set of revenue for yourself in addition to, because it's not just about writing the book, it's about publishing it and having it in Kindle and all of that. And then having that as part of your resume, I think is just huge. So remember, we have the upcoming event in Cancun. That's a 2-day event. That's going to be for Inner Circle members only. We still have, I think, 2 or 3 spots left for that. So if you're planning on coming to Cancun with us, you need to get your ticket ASAP. And if you're planning on coming to the event in December, we still have a little bit of time left based on availability. That's going to be in Boca Raton, Florida. So excellent. All right, it looks like those are all of the questions. So, hey, thank you so much for being here, for joining me, for participating in today's session. As always, if you're with me live, thank you. And if you're watching on the replay, thank you for doing that too. One last point I want to mention. There's a video I just posted about multiple destinations. If you're doing FBA shipments on your own, you should watch it and opt out. It's a short video, but it's really important for everybody to do that. Julie, if you're coming to the book event, buy your ticket. The hotel is located on the website where you book your ticket for the AI event. However, we are just finalizing the room block. So we're going to try to get in a little bit of a discount for the rooms. So don't book your rooms yet. But the event's going to be in downtown Boca, so the hotel where it's at is actually listed on the page itself. All right. So thank you, everybody. We appreciate you, and have a great week. And Corinne will be back at some point. Her knee is her knee. She's still working on getting some treatments for it. So we're hoping that she recovers fast, because I know it's painful. I know that's painful, but we got our fingers crossed for Corinne, and our best wishes for her knee to heal soon. So everybody, thanks so much, and we'll see you all soon. Take care.